Oh my god. Oh no. Oh yeah, we're not gonna try. This was a piece as well. These are all pieces from a floor tom, the drum head in a floor tom, and it was a bigger piece that I had put together, but I don't. It's all stuck. No, that's not gonna happen. It is rarely possible to deal with whole populations. I deal with night terrors a lot, and fever dreams are a big thing. So this was a lot of paranoia from those dreams. Existentialism. This one opens. It's just a bunch of flying fucks. This one was probably one of my favorite to actually create because there's so many different elements to it. Just wanted to have a space within this book because this book has a lot of like heavy topics in it for me, at least, as partially a journal and partially a record of going through lockdown. And so I wanted a page or a piece in this book to just be about innocence and being about love and being loved and being comfortable, giving yourself enough water and the space to be okay with yourself. This was my big vendetta against religion, so you have fun with that. This is about moving and just not giving a fuck and just going. So I have chronic migraines, and this was me just criticizing the fact that I've dealt with them since I was 8, and I still have people come up to me and try and tell me, like, oh, this is an easy fix. This is a, you know, homeopathic remedy. This is a natural remedy. Oh, you should try this. Have you tried magnesium yet? And the really simple answers, unsolicited medical advice has been a big theme for me. More existentialism, consumerism. I have no idea what the fuck this is about. This is the sequel to my original mushroom one. Immigration, depression, moving. It didn't mold! Oh my god, yes! It stayed. This is actual orange peel. I peeled an orange, ate it on video, and then hot glued the orange into the book itself. This book is not about politics. Remember that. Corporatism. I did this one and I was thinking a lot about the question of what do people do when they're born into a culture that's just pulled from other cultures? What happens when you don't have anything to go back to? Just some down the rabbit hole type shit. We gotta... Hello, tiny bunny. Living in the past. Religion. More religion. This one's more about like religious fear, having the fear of God beaten into you. More fever dreams, depression, high depression, more existentialism. Big eye. This one was more about corporatism as well. I'm not tired of being a breadwinner. I'm just tired of eating moldy bread. This one's about growing up, and our input determines our output, our childhood determines our adulthood, and how a lot of people set kids up to fail. This one's about drugs. This is one about synesthesia, and if you don't know what synesthesia is, I would definitely look it up because there's a lot of facets to it, but basically that I associate colors and shapes with sounds. Picture them when I hear certain sounds, and certain sounds have a physical attribute to them. This is more about that. Influences, heroes, people dying. David Bowie was a big influence on me musically and just finding myself. So I put him in here as the example, but this kind of just applies to any influence that isn't here anymore. Fucking Christmas. This is me being a little shit. More action. This is 100% existential dread. There's nothing else more here except for just fear in the unknown. What we've been told we have to have. So this goes through here and is a movie. It's supposed to be a TV that you can change the channels on for different things, just because you can. And I like doing shit like this. This one is called This Is a Fever Dream. Graveyard of old ideas and lost paths. Just putting to rest all the ideas that aren't going anywhere. These are a bunch of old sketches I did. Behind a lot, you can kind of see back here, so this is why I'm using this one as an example, but I wrote journal entries behind a lot of these. The only place you can actually see what's written behind these is in the other videos of the making of, but yeah, I don't even remember what I wrote on some of these, but just like that idea of information being present, but not being heard. Depression. These are kind of weird. This is all one big series that I did of a faceless character just kind of going through life on these postcards. And I really liked the idea of putting them as one big piece in this series. Capitalism, capitalism, more capitalism. God, I made so many about fever dreams, which is fair because I have a lot of them. So this one was really fucking emotional. The place that I went was called Pojo's, and it is an arcade that is in Boise, Idaho. And I had so many good like childhood memories of this place because I used to go there all the time with my dad. And I went back one last time before we moved, and it wasn't the same. It was completely different. They had modernized a lot of things, gotten rid of the old loud games, and put in games that were quieter. It didn't have any of the big sounds or lights or anything, and it was so much different. And I was really heartbroken that, you know, I should have just left it be a memory, you know, and I shouldn't have gone back, I don't think. Some random shit that didn't get used. Oh, the stick! I still have this stick. It's a good stick. This was Thanksgiving 2020, I believe. I wrote this and then I put tape over it, and then when I eventually got to this page, I tore it off in the video, and I had completely forgotten what I wrote. Kind of a zen moment, just trying to interpret all the feelings that I was trying to have about where I fit and how to think about the end, potentially, because, I don't know, during lockdown there was a lot of unknowns, and we didn't know what we were doing or what was going to happen or where we were going, so this was a lot of, yeah, the problem of adjusting and conflicting. This is about drinking. I really wanted to do one that was just nature. Okay, so this is probably my favorite entry of all the entries in here. This one is about migraines as well. I fucking hate migraines. I've had them forever. They suck. If you have chronic migraines and you know what I'm talking about, this was just the most disturbing piece to make, and I love the way it turned out, so yeah. This is about phobias. I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but yeah, it's definitely paranoia, phobia, anxiety. Pretty self-explanatory. I was on a particular antidepressant when I made this. That's actually some of the antidepressant. It wasn't doing good things to my body, and so I made art with it because that's what you do when things happen to you. Yay, trauma! This is the darkest piece in the entire book. If you really want to look at this one, I highly recommend going and watching the video. Not for any selfish reason, it's dark. It's really dark, and I don't want to explain it because it's really fucking dark. Oh, okay. I don't know what this is about. This is about fitting in. It's an aquarium. Fish get eaten. It's happy. I'm having trouble. These wings didn't stick very well. This is about family. This is about family, if you couldn't tell. The idea of fitting in and finding a place. This was the second to last entry. I'm not sure what's in here. Postcards? This might have postcards, but I'm not sure. I probably wrote something on it. Just kind of a happy, like, hey, things are okay. We've made it through all of this together. This was an incredibly emotional project. We're coming home safe. This was a collage I did a while ago. It doesn't belong in here. And then the last entry was the back. I had a little tiny space. I left it intentionally blank. He's got a blunt, he's got a pill, but either way. I guess it's a joint. I really wanted the back cover to be the last entry because it felt final. You know, it felt like we're closing the door. Fuck you, you were a monster of a project, but now we're done, you know? That was so much to go through. So now we're gonna tie it back up. Tight as I possibly can. So that was the book. That was the book that I spent 2 years completely doing. It's really weird looking back through all of the projects in that book and kind of going back through what I was feeling at the time, because there was so much happening, you know, during the lockdown, during the pandemic, and also just personally. Like, it was a really weird flux type period of my life. I had just, when I started the book, I had just gotten out officially gotten out of a really, really, really bad living situation, and I was starting a new relationship at the same time. We were living in a new place. The pandemic happened, then lockdown, then everything that happened the summer of 2020, and then the election, and it was just so much, and it was so interesting to put all of the thoughts that I was feeling into an artistic form that was conclusive. It was all one book, right? So yeah, that was cool. Some of them kind of gave me a little bit of anxiety from when I originally did them. Some not great thoughts, but that's okay, because I think art is not always about feeling safe. It's about feeling, and that book did it for me, and I hope it does it for some other people that might have similar experiences or similar thoughts. Low-key. Okay. Get down. I have to take care of a cat. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for stopping by, and tuning in, and letting me nerd out for a little bit. In the meantime, stay safe, stay hydrated, go on all of the adventures. See you next time.